All right.
Hello and welcome to our team, which is made up of Steven Raimundo, Ryan Mullen, Lealena Befikadu, Malik Downey, and Raymond Argueta. And we are working on the information science dashboard.
So what was our problem? Our main problem was how could we make finding classes easier for information science students? Testudo is a great platform. However, in order to get to the classes that you wanted, it was kind of difficult because you had to filter by department, then by credits, and it would take a very long time if you were just looking for INST courses. So we wanted to be able to help students easily navigate a web page in order to retrieve the exact information that they were looking for, which in this case is only INST classes since this is for information science students. The stakeholders are going to be information science students, current and former, because we will be pulling previous semester courses, so they could be interested in looking for them. So that is a possibility. And also incoming information science students, if they are curious to know about some of the classes and their descriptions. Our information problem has remained the same throughout the semester, and that's important because that is what kept us going to go through with this project. So the original plan that we had was to have a dashboard. Mind you that we did select this to be for desktop only. However, if you do go on a mobile device, it will still function. However, it won't be nice looking as it should. And what we had basically was a semester search, a credit search, and a building search. The reason buildings is in red is because throughout the semester, we found out that it was very difficult to retrieve buildings from the API, given that they were associated to an INST course. So technically, all buildings are shared with other departments, and therefore we felt it wouldn't be justified to have buildings there. However, we did add an integration, as you will see moving forward.
The research that we had to put in, of course, faced a lot of challenges. For example, we had to get used to the React framework, which was difficult to learn and implement within 3 weeks. Having to build and retrieve information was not possible, and also implementation of local storage structure was beyond many capabilities of the group. But along with these obstacles came some successes. So we were able to retrieve data from the API successfully. We were able to learn about integrating Leaflet, learn about Axios and its function, contrary to the alternative, which is Fetch. We learned a way lot more about Bulma as a CSS framework to make the page like interesting and appealing. And we also learned more about JS and HTML along the way.
Oh, so along with a lot of successes, there were a lot of failures. Sometimes with team members, we had a lot of scheduling conflicts, and to set up meeting times was definitely difficult. And also going through this pandemic also makes it difficult. But the main issue that we found was that the data from the API was very limited. Um, we had to rearrange the project plan, as we said, to exclude certain capabilities, which that consisted of being able to make like your own course schedule or being able to add courses to a schedule or add courses to a certain part of the page. And that's why we excluded local storage, because that was kind of something that was difficult to implement and beyond some of our capabilities. Also, by default, the API only pulls current semester information. So we had to do a lot of coding on the back end to be able to retrieve other previous semesters. And so this was definitely a big challenge. Semester was coded oddly. So when you would retrieve information from semester, you would have it coded very oddly. That would be difficult maybe for a typical person to understand what semester it's a part of. The documentation was kind of difficult and poor to understand because you were given one website that had documentation, but then that documentation took you to another documentation. And so understanding how the API functioned was definitely a big challenge. And the API information changed as the project was developing. So as we were developing the project, we were getting errors that no current semester information was present, hence the reason why it only pulls current semester information. But as of last week, they started adding that information. So we were pulling current current semester information. So that was definitely a challenge to work with that. I think another difficulty was understanding JavaScript and HTML. Sometimes I would have to research and the group would have to research, what certain functions did. And that definitely took a toll on our capabilities. Watch list in the list to save courses was not implemented just because, like I said before, it was a little bit beyond our capabilities, even though that we did try our best to implement that. However, it was a challenge.
So, of course, of these failures, we had to overcome them. So we were able to come together as a team and do the best job possible during these difficult times. We always ask Professor Alex for helping regarding JS and pulling from the API. And we, of course, have to learn and research more about requests to API. Able to query using Axios to retrieve previous semester courses, and of course, submitting a project that we felt solved our information problem that would meet to our standards. And in this project, we used several types of technological, like to our advantage. And the most notable one is Bulma, that helped us a lot with the CSS department, and then Axios with the HTTP. Of course, there's the classics like HTML and JavaScript. And of course, we also just use Leaflet as well.
So now we will go ahead and do our demo. So first, to start our application, we're going to be starting our server, and that'll be hosted on port 3000, localhost 3000. And here this brings us to our webpage. So our webpage has a logo that we created as a team, so information science dashboard. Then to the right, we have the two things that were not implemented, as recently mentioned. So my list and watch list was not implemented, but then Ryan, one of our group members, created this stress students click here thing, which brings us to photos of some cute puppies right here. So as you see right here, we have the information science dashboard, and we have the logo for the College of Information Studies. And this is where we start our searches. So the three applications that were required, we have right here. We have a search, a semester search, and a credit search. So off the bat, if you click submit without actually asking for any other information, without querying anything, you'll be retrieving the current semester information. So you will be retrieving the class number, the amount of credits, and also a description of the class. This is all part of the current semester information. Like I said before, the API works like that. But using Axios, we can query this, and we actually were able to. So if we wanted fall 2019, 3 credit courses, we can go ahead and pull that. And there we go. We'll get the fall 2019 3 credit courses that were part of that semester. Or if you just wanted to, you could just, query, one credit courses for the semester, or what were some one credit courses for fall 2018, if there were any. So here's a great example of something that we added. So if there's no description provided by the API, we added a little tag here saying no description provided. Instead of leaving it blank, that's what we added. So you're able to do many things. And you can also, you can search for it using, your little browser. So if you do INST314 and we click submit, so this will be the INST314 class for the current semester. And if we wanted to search up the INST314 class of fall 2020, that will also retrieve itself. I think, for example, a good thing to note is that if you try to search any other classes, you won't be able to, just because this will only return back classes in INST. So if you put BMGT 301 or something like that, you will not be retrieving any information. It all has to be INST related. So if, for example, INST 201, whatever it may be. So this is our search by class name, so with number, semester, and then the amount of credits. And you could always do them all at the same time. So if you want to search for an INST 314 course for this semester and 3 credits, you'll retrieve that information. So if we move a little bit down, we'll have our leaflet integration. As we said before, we got rid of the buildings part of our dashboard just because we felt it was not pertaining enough to what we actually wanted to do. But we wanted to add something interesting. And so we used OpenStreetMap and used an API key to retrieve the longitude and latitude of the University of Maryland, and also put a radius circle. So if people are still curious and want to know more about the university and what's around it, you're able to do so. And you're able also to see the halls, the lecture halls, all nearby. So if you're trying to if you're a student trying to search for something, or, a brand new student as well, you're able to see all of that through here. And also, finally, we have our content license that is from Bulma at the bottom, just for no copyright infringements or any issues as well. And that is our information science dashboard. So what does the future hold for this project? Well, there's a lot of things we wish we could have implemented if we had more time. But at the moment, we think that if we could provide more information on the classes, such as buildings, reviews, probably sections as well, that would be something very helpful for someone who actually wants to use this on a daily basis. Also, Finding an easier way to have to pull information from previous semesters instead of having to query it using Axios. That is something that we would love to see, but that would have to be from the API personnel. However, that would make it much easier to use and something that we would love to see implemented. And also the big thing that we want to do moving forward is to gather user data and actually allow students to plan out schedules. So if students are retrieving certain classes, they'll be able to add them to like a list and save them instead of having it to go through Testudo and then it's like saving you have to take the course, the credits. Here you can just save that to your list and there you go. It's as simple as that. And also possibly we could possibly use an integration with Planeterp where you get information regarding professors and like their reviews and stuff. So that would be amazing if we could use two APIs in the future to pull information from one end and the other end.
And lastly, team acknowledgement. We just want to give a big shout out to Steven the GOAT, because not only did he get the APIs to work, seeing how the semester was terrible for everybody, Steven was the one who took charge in a difficult, super difficult time where we have students who are graduating and others who are in the middle of a job and they're fighting over schedule conflicts basically, and we're all trying to basically work in the best way possible. And whenever we couldn't, we all know that Steven was there to just be able to lead us and take the charge. And MVP. He's the
Appreciate
MVP.
it. One thing before I want to end this presentation, I do want to show how we were using Axios right here real quick to query it. So if we go to our server, we're able to see that we created a query parameter, and these were the parameters. So by default, we're definitely only going to be looking for INST, and then we have all the semesters that it could possibly retrieve from when selected by the user. This is definitely a difficult job, but something that we learned a lot about, and something that we were happy that works, and also being able to produce a dashboard that is what we wanted and solve their information problem. So thank you so much. We hope that you enjoy, and we also hope that you will use this in the future. Thank you.